there's also a camp of people that have been advocating for something to be done about the Hyundai project and the Hyundai megasite. We have reported extensively about safety issues at the site, and we've had whistleblowers saying that a lot of undocumented immigrants have been employed at the site and that they have been exposed to these safety hazards due to their legal status and that they've also been exploited.
I can hear those lights and sirens right now, and the ambulance is coming around the corner. I see a Georgia State Patrol vehicle pulling in, a Georgia State Patrol truck, so they were likely escorting the ambulance here, and after that we can see an ambulance coming in behind them, so this is going to be that soldier. They have a full police escort, as you can hear. If I'm the juror, I'm going to be using deductive reasoning with all of this evidence that we have, and then you also can't discredit just the fact, again, Simon never outright confessed to it, but she was caught in so many lies so many times, and they had to be wondering what exactly she had to lie about. Do you have any contact information for the folks at E-Green?
I stopped full communication with them.
Okay.
I don't have no more communication with them. I think they even left Savannah.
Tyler, this verdict came down less than 30 minutes ago, and it looks like the prosecutors are actually walking out right now. We can see Tim Dean, who secured this conviction, leaving the courthouse right now. Leilani Simon found guilty on all 19 counts in that indictment. Your message to local contractors who have been raising concerns for years that they've been left out of this billion-dollar economic development project in favor of cheaper illegal labor. There is a tree down on northbound Abercorn at Johnson Street, and as you can see, there's no police presence here, so people are pretty much doing what they have to do to get to the other side of the road. They are taking it upon themselves to drive over the median and get onto the other side of Abercorn Street, but there really is no other option for anything to do right now. I'm going to step out and give you a look at this tree in the road. I mean, you can see that it's really massive. It is absolutely blocking up the way.
The cop is parked further down by like the entrance to the, I think it's the middle school.
Coming up behind him, moved over to the opposing lane of travel.
I started to turn, and then I saw a light.
He kind of did a little, like a wobble, like didn't know what to do. And then I thought he was going to go right. And instead, he tried to turn left.
And next thing I know, I was in the hospital.
March 21st, 2019 is the day Luther Roberts' life changed forever. A quick trip to talk with his uncle ended with severe consequences.
It was like what they call a traumatic amputation. So when the car hit me, it just took my leg with it.
Roberts was hit by Savannah police officer Matthew Clay.
Just tell me what happened.
So we had a call for a robbery.
He can be heard on this dash cam video explaining what happened before the crash.
Lights and siren. Lights and siren.
The problem? He passed Roberts in a no passing zone, going more than 40 miles over the speed limit. Roberts says he never saw it coming.
He cut the lights on like 2 seconds before he hit me.
So you had no warning?
No.
Roberts estimates he spent 4.5 months in the hospital after the accident, only the last month or so conscious. He dealt with a brain injury, organ damage, burns, memory loss, headaches, damage to his hand, depression, and of course, the loss of his leg. And data shows Roberts is far from the only person who's been in a crash with the Savannah Police Department. Georgia Department of Transportation data shows from January 2022 to April 2025, SPD was involved in 469 crashes, 9 of those causing serious injuries. In the same time period, the Atlanta Police Department was involved in 680 crashes, also causing 9 serious injuries. But Savannah is much smaller than Atlanta. The numbers show SPD officers getting crashes at double the rate of Atlanta police officers.
GDOT data doesn't distinguish who is at fault, but SPD data shows that officers were in 385 preventable crashes in that same time frame.
When I thought about it at first hand, I thought that's an interesting fact or some interesting numbers and data that we have.
Alderman Curtis Pertee represents Savannah's 6th District, but also has 25 years of experience in law enforcement. He says there are key differences between the two cities that could be contributing factors: pedestrian traffic, a crowded downtown area, and lots of truck traffic from the ports. All things officers have to deal with too.
Sometimes police officers are victim to the same things that people are.
Should they be held to a higher standard given their position?
Officers, when they're out patrolling, oftentimes they're not just focused on the rules of the road. When they're patrolling a neighborhood, and sometimes the littlest things, that they may not see can cause an accident. But should we hold them to a higher standard all the time?
An investigation by Georgia Post, the agency that oversees officers in the state, found at the time of the crash, Clay was driving over 80 miles an hour. He also didn't help Luther Roberts because Roberts was on fire. Clay thought Roberts was debris from the accident. A bystander saved Roberts instead.
The officer told him to stop when he was putting out the fire. He's the one that applied a tourniquet to stop me from bleeding out.
Clay was suspended from the Savannah Police Department for 40 hours. He was put on probation by Post for 2 years. He was also indicted in Chatham County on a misdemeanor reckless driving charge, but the case was dropped after he completed a pretrial diversion program. He now works for the Bryan County Sheriff's Office.
He's able to advance in his career while I'm stuck. I'm going in reverse. Is there going to ever be any consequences? Just because you have a badge, that doesn't mean that your neglect is washed away.
The city of Savannah did take a financial hit from Roberts' crash, paying him $500,000. Roberts says it's not nearly enough to cover his now lifetime of medical expenses, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to what the city has paid other crash victims since the beginning of 2019. Since then, the city has paid 216 people a combined $3.9 million just for crashes they've been in with SPD officers.
Should the number be lower than $3 million? All day long. All day long. Once you start getting into some of those medical bills and damages on vehicle, that sort of thing, the price can get awfully high. We are paying out, the community is paying out because of the actions of our city employees.
Pertee believes training is the way to prevent scenarios like Luther Roberts's. Recruits go through 2 weeks of training at the police academy prior to certification. Stephen Rivers, who oversees driver training at SPD, says the department's officers do driver training once a year, which focuses more on routine driving than pursuit scenarios.
Paying attention to everything, right? Consideration of other drivers around you. We can't drive for other people, but a lot of times we can pay attention, extreme attention, and you may see something that could or couldn't go good.
The training takes place at a course in Southside Savannah that Alderman Pertee says is simply not big enough.
They never revert back to that training when they don't get the training to be able to go out on a larger track and a larger area and practice some of those things and learn the ability of what their vehicle can do.
Pertee says he's been working with SPD to identify spaces in Savannah a bigger course could go. As for Roberts, he's not riding motorcycles anymore. His doctor's telling him he's just lucky to be alive.
Do you feel lucky?
Well, lucky, I wouldn't use that term. I feel more like I still have a purpose. That's my explanation. I'm still here to do something more.
Homeland Security Investigations announced today they've arrested 475 people on the Hyundai megasite, all of whom they say are in the United States illegally or working illegally. And this comes after a month-long investigation that they said they've been doing after receiving community complaints.
The Department of Justice mission is to reduce illegal employment and prevent employers from gaining an unfair advantage by hiring unauthorized workers and exploiting those workers.
U.S. Attorney Meg Heap saying details on the investigation into HLGA Battery Company, owned jointly by Hyundai and LG, are limited, but certainly is related to the presence of undocumented workers on the site. Stephen Schrank, the special agent in charge of Homeland Security investigations, saying those arrested were employees not just of the battery company.
There was a network of subcontractors and subcontractors for the subcontractors there. So the employees worked for a variety of different companies that were on the site.
Schrank adding the majority of those arrested are Korean. A spokesperson for the Korean Foreign Ministry making a statement saying, quote, "The economic activities of our companies investing in the United States in the interests of our citizens must not be unduly violated during the course of U.S. law enforcement." The presence of undocumented workers on the site is something WTOC Investigates has been following since December, first telling you of major safety hazards on the site that whistleblowers Kevin Souza and Fernando Garcia said had everything to do with the legal status of the workers.
These workers are undocumented.
Right.
I mean, so they can treat them however they want to, and they do.
Local contractors also telling WTOC they felt passed over in favor of illegal labor.
We haven't been able to get our local contractors out there and get any work because we don't not work the undocumented workers. We work, American workers.
We asked Special Agent Schrank what prompted HSI's investigation. Schrank saying the agency kept an eye on WTOC's reporting.
We have monitored that reporting as well. We have also received many leads from community members, from prior workers. We have developed evidence over the course of many months.
Now, just before we came on air, Hyundai Motor Group released a statement that says in part, quote, "We are reviewing our processes to ensure that all parties working on our projects maintain the same high standards of legal compliance that we demand of ourselves. This includes thorough vetting of employment practices by contractors and subcontractors." I do have to mention that throughout the course of our investigation into the presence of undocumented workers on the site, as well as the network of contractors and subcontractors on the site, we have reached out to Hyundai several times asking them about the presence of those undocumented workers and what their standards are for verifying that the folks that work for them, even through subcontractors, are working legally, and they have repeatedly denied that there are undocumented workers on their site and also said that they have the highest standards and that they always ensure that their subcontractors are adhering to the law, and if they find out they aren't, that they do cut off contact with them or discipline them in some way. Now, also in our WTOC Investigates desk this afternoon, we have obtained the search warrant that allowed federal officials to raid the mega site yesterday. That search warrant saying that they are investigating for illegal labor practices and some companies on the site potentially harboring undocumented immigrants. We do have a copy of that search warrant on this story on WTOC.com. You can also see Hyundai's full statement on our website as well. Live in Savannah tonight, Shea Schrader, WTOC Investigates.